Hey everybody, this is Tony UV, and I'm here also with Guled. Guled and I wrote in the OWASP Atlanta chapter here in Atlanta, Georgia. And we're here with an exciting new monthly talk for OWASP Atlanta. Carlos Holguera, is that good pronunciation, Carlos?
That's right, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So we're joined with Carlos. He's actually coming to us live from Europe, and Carlos is a fellow OWASP leader. He is a project leader for the mobile security projects of MSTG and MASVS. MASVS is the Mobile Application Security Verification Standard, and the Mobile Application Security Verification Standard, for those of you that are not familiar with it, along with the Application Security Verification Standard, is basically great remediation content. It's got 3 levels of stringent countermeasures that you can implement as a developer. And we're going to give Carlos the floor to be able to depict that as a leader. And he's, by trade, he is a mobile security researcher and engineer. He's been in the industry roughly for about 15 years. Is that good assessment, Carlos?
Yeah. Exactly.
So without further ado, we're going to give the floor to Carlos. I do invite anyone on the OWASP chapter to be able to, first of all, let your colleagues know that this is going on now. But if they are not able to make it, and you have colleagues that are in mobile application development, or just simply in information security, let them know that this is being recorded, and we're going to be sharing out the recording through the OWASP chapter link on LinkedIn. You could also follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Meetup. And of course, we have our OWASP chapter page on the OWASP.org page as well. If this is your first time with OWASP, welcome. We are a nonprofit global coalition focusing on application security projects, tools for builders, defenders, and breakers. So whatever your speed is, whatever you're just coming into things, or if you're a veteran for 30 years, you're going to find something for yourself. But without further ado, we're going to give this to Carlos. I'm going to go off frame, and Carlos, have the floor. And thanks so much for your participation to OWASP Atlanta.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tony. I will present. So, yeah, and thanks everyone for being here. So this is me. I was already presented. Thanks, Tony, for the nice presentation. I will go straight to the content. So let me start with some motivation for you. If you're a mobile developer or a pen tester, you will be interested in this for sure. So some time ago, if you're a regular user, you will be also interested, I guess. So some time ago, this approach from Apple. They introduced the privacy nutrition labels. This is like, okay, whenever you download an app, normally you wouldn't read the whole privacy policy. So who does that, right? This is not really convenient. So to solve this, Apple released these privacy nutrition labels. And this is a way to give you all the necessary information at a glance. So you will see things like what the app is using from your data, like the location, identifiers, etc. But in an easy way, so that you can just look and see, okay, this app is bad, I don't want to use it, but this app doesn't use so much data. Just open WhatsApp or Facebook, and you will see a lot of these entries in there. So following this, this happened like around 2020, and then 2021, Google started a similar approach with the Google data safety labels. So it's similar, but it has some other enhancements. So this is something that Google is checking on every Like if you want to publish an app, you will have to go through a process, sending a form with certain data, like declaring anything that you are using from the user's data. And what happens is that they will check that, and then this section will be included whenever your app is out. So how it differs from the Apple version, this includes also security. It's not only for privacy. You will also see if the app is using your contact data, your location, etc. But it also has some security implications. Like as you can see here now, the data is encrypted. So this is one security thing that you can see. But there is more than that. So, and this is when we come again to the topic of, which is the topic of today, the MSTG and the MASVS. So if you want the users to be really sure that your app is safe to use, then you can do this by running an independent security review. And Google allows you now to display this to your users. So starting on July, Google started showing this data safety section, and there is a special place for this security review here. So if you want to do this, you just contact, there is a form for this. So you just put whatever they require you to put, and then you will go through this security review, which is based on the MASVS and the MSTG. And then if everything goes well, you will get this badge, which is very good for your users to know that your app is secure. So just to show you a live example, so Google already did this with their own apps. So I can show you here from YouTube. You just can go to any of the Play Store apps, and you might see this. You will see the section, might be empty in some cases because the developers didn't send that now yet, sorry. But if yes, you will see this kind of data, and then you will also see this independent security review. So you can still open this again and see more details, like here about messages, photos, etc. And you also see the security practices, including what I just mentioned here. And just if you keep navigating, just a curious user will just end up here where everything is explained and tells you how this was done. So what is this? If you don't know the project, or if you know it, I also hope you learn something new today. So this is the mobile application security project. We mainly have these three things that are the standard on one side. This tells you what you have to test in an app. Imagine you don't have any knowledge about mobile security. You want to test the security of the app, of your app or of another app. You want to just do some pen testing. How do you know what you should cover? So the MSVS tells you exactly that. Like, okay, you should look for insecure storage, insecure cryptography, insecure networking, all these categories. And inside each of those categories, you will find several controls, security controls. It tells you specifically what to search for. The MSTG will explain for each of those security controls how you test for that. It will give you information on the tools that you need to use, the techniques that you can apply. There are examples, and there is one test per control of the MSVS. So this is an easy way you can learn about mobile security. And then there is also the checklist, which is normally very helpful. You are doing a pen test of an app, and you can just go through each of the controls from the MASVS, and you have links to the MSTG, like here. So you just click, you end up in the MSTG, and you just can start reading and applying whatever the MSTG tells you to do. So that's more or less the idea of the project. Now, I will tell you what we have been doing in the last couple of months. So the MASVS, it's quite long, let's say it like that. So we had a lot of requirements. We noticed that many of the requirements in some cases were a bit difficult to comprehend. In other cases, we saw overlap of requirements, like maybe across categories or in the same category. So looking at this, we started a refactoring process. And here you see how this looks like. So we went through all the categories, which you can see here. The green and the blue just means the blue is the things we already have covered and are finalized. The green are the currently active categories that are open for comments. So we went through each of these categories. We release a spreadsheet like the one you are seeing here. It's kind of a div, so you can see what is the previous, what were the previous controls, what are the new controls, and some comments, reasoning, examples, etc. So right now we have two of the categories, architecture and resiliency, open for comments. So anyone can comment here. This is very important since this is a really a very big change that we are doing in the project. So we are very happy to have any comments. So you would just open the spreadsheet and you see other people has already entered some comments. So if you have any opinions, suggestions, just please go ahead. I will show you one of those live. So we have a page where we have the overview of all these categories, and you can see the ones that are closed for comments or open for comments. If you see it's closed for comments, don't worry, because we are releasing the so-called release candidate 1, including the whole MASVS, and you will be able to enter comments if you need to. So we did this kind of like every month, one category, collected the comments, closed the category. It was more or less like that. So one of these spreadsheets looks like this. So you can see the full div. So it's really very detailed. By the way, this is not the final document. This is just a working document that we use to show you how things are changing. If you want, you can like filter things here. If you want to see just the previous requirements or security controls, you see we had here 15 in storage. And if you just put the new ones, like with the plus here, you see that we just have 5 now. So we really reduced all of this. And you can read the reasoning, like, well, let me put it in full again, because you can see if we have removed or modified one, like this one, we have rewarded it. So you can see the reason of this rewarding, and then you can see the new focus of the requirement. And together with that, you can see on this side, the current test cases that we have in the MSTG for that kind of old control. And you can see a list of new test cases that might be already in the MSTG and others might not. But this is very important because if you read the control, you read the focus, and you read the tests, you will be able to understand what is it about. And maybe you are seeing it as other people did and see, okay, I would also check this as well. So you can enter a comment and we will take care of including that. So that you can understand a little bit better what's going on, why we did these things. I will be showing this to you. So here you see 3 of the old requirements. So the first one, MSTG storage, tells you, okay, you have an app, you're storing data, And we have the system credential storage facilities. You can call that the Android key store, the iOS keychain, things like that. So this is telling you, you should store sensitive data, user credentials, anything sensitive like that inside that store. But this has some problems that we detected, like, okay, what is this system credential storage? Okay, it's the keychain, is the key store. Maybe we can find a way to make this better, more understandable. There is also another thing that is called Android Account Manager. It could be also understood as this credential storage. So this could generate some confusion. So we are trying to solve this with the new requirements. Also, sensitive data like this is not meant to be in the key store. Like, you can actually like store it in iOS keychain. It allows you to do that, but it's not meant to be like that. So we are also trying to solve this kind of things that might generate confusion. So for this one, no sensitive data should be stored outside the app container or the system credential storage facilities. Again, we see some overlapping with the previous one because of the credential storage facilities. And we also acknowledge that sometimes data must live outside of the app container for some reasons. So we are also addressing this kind of things. And for the last one, same story, that it's overlapping with 1 and 2, because it also tells you like no sensitive data should be stored locally on the mobile device. Instead, it should be retrieved from a remote endpoint whenever it's needed. So this has the problem that it's a more architectural decision. We cannot know if your app just has remote data that is downloading, but it will also have user data. Normally, it's kind of a mix between things that have to be stored locally and can be retrieved from remote. So yeah, this is another thing that we are addressing. And to do that, we say, okay, we have some architectural considerations. We say, okay, for storage, we might have that, all local, all remote, a hybrid. We also specify now what do we mean when we say sensitive data? So what is this exactly? And this is the scope that I present here. Like, we will have user data, which you can see here, like lots of different data. This comes straight from Google here, what they consider user sensitive data. But we also have authorization data. We also have cryptographic material. So in the new storage category in the MSVS, we are considering all of this. So when you read the controls, you will know that we are referring to this data. And before, yeah, we say sensitive data, but it was maybe not that well specified. So, and here is just to show you, okay, how we took the 15 requirements and then generate this 5. So just very quickly, first we saw, okay, let's check what we can find that is maybe better in another category, like this keyboard cache, IPC. This is just a summary of the control. The control is longer, like the text. UI stuff, backups, like sensitive data and backups. So all of this, it's not that the developer is willing to store some information. It's kind of a side effect of using certain APIs, of interacting with the platform, which is Android or iOS. And that's exactly what our other category platform does. So we took all of those and moved them to platform. The same we did with this one. So, okay, hardware-baked, encrypted data and authorization. This was more about keys, so, and cryptography. So we moved it to cryptography. Having those eliminated from here, Then we did this, which is, okay, let's see what are our new controls that are really clear. They should be controls. So we did this mapping and maybe reformulate the text, made it simpler to understand, and to really show the focus that we wrote on that reasoning in the spreadsheet. And this was the next step. Like, okay, we have all the controls that were not clear controls, so to say, but can be tests that are part of the other controls. So this is the second mapping that we did. And this is what you also see in the spreadsheet. You're able to see which tests, not only the ones that were like old controls, but also the new ones. So that's more or less how the process was. And now we finish everything. So here, what I want to show you is that like when we did this refactoring, we noticed that also in the MSTG, I told you before, you can find one test per control. So normally there is a lot of good information there, but it's a very big blob that you will need to read. So we thought, okay, let's try to make this easier for people to, and thinking also about automation. If you're doing security testing, you would like to automate stuff, this will help. So we just took this very big test and we split it into small chunks. So now, not now, but maybe next year, when we do the second version, you will find that when you search for a MASVS control, you will find many tests. Like in this case, all of these tests tell you, okay, you are testing for storage one, which tells you you should encrypt data in your app, but you will say, okay, cool, but where and how? So here you will find a test, okay, test for sensitive data in the app package, for sensitive data in the source code. So do some static analysis in the third-party libraries, encrypted inside the app container, outside of the app container, in cache. So all of the places, all of the possible places that you can store data, you will find a test for that. You will find the tools, the techniques, everything. So really every step that you need to do for that. So, and with this is kind of putting all together. So this is what you can see the same category that I presented, the storage. You have the different controls represented here, like, sorry, the controls are here and you see what they are covering. Like the key areas when you look at mobile secure storage are data can be addressed as in the source code of the app or in the binary, in the compiled binary, in the internal storage, external, key store, logs, etc. Can be in use in the memory. And well, this is an extra thing that we have to consider for data privacy. But these are the main areas. And here you see kind of mapped the areas to the controls and to the tests. So we believe this kind of diagrams also might help. So we will be also generating this kind of diagrams for each of the categories. And you will find this in the MASVS as well, so that you can just follow. So there is this one more thing about compliance as code. I already talked about automation, and also if you think about the checklist that I presented before, if you have one app and a small team might be okay, but if you have many apps, this might not be scalable. So if you want to to make this better, we thought about that. So there is we try to make this transition to the MASVS version 2 as smooth as possible, and we will be implementing new ways in which you can interact with this standard. So the traditional way, like until now, is that, and this is a problem in many other standards, is that they are very static. So their documents like include Word documents, Excel tables, I don't know, any of these things, PDFs, and you need a human reading that. So, but unfortunately, this is the way it is. So we want to take this and make it dynamic. So we are thinking about machine readable documents, so that this will help you automate, like read out the things from the MASVS, maybe also from the MSTG, and you will be able to use all this data to create tools that test for you, to even, and I think this is very interesting, right now there is no way for you to compare between vendors. Like if someone is offering you pen testing or automated security analysis of mobile apps, you don't have a way to benchmark them. They might declare that they are covering the MASVS and the MSTG, but you don't really have a way to validate that. So having this data, we will enable that. So it will be very fine-grained and people will be able to collect this data and compare. So a service provider for security testing will be able to declare what they cover using our templates, something like that. So, and another thing that is very important is the traceability. We are including the versioning, even commit IDs. So all of our documents, they live in GitHub, so we can even refer to commit IDs so that everyone knows the version they are using. And all of this leads us to this, which we call profiles. So until now, if you know the MASVS already, you see that we have different levels, level 1, level 2, and R, which stands for resiliency. So we are kind of renaming that to profiles because there is a standard from NIST that it's, long story short, a standard to write standards. So we will be relying on that from the MASVS, and this NIST standard defines these profiles. And this is a way to tell, okay, we have the full MASVS, but anyway, you are not intended to apply all of the controls. You have to do a threat analysis, a threat modeling, and see which controls are relevant to your app. And with this, we can say, okay, let's just take some slices of the MASVS which apply to your use case. You can do your custom profile. You can use the recommended profiles that we are giving, the same as we did before. Level 1, level 2, depends on your app. But we can create new ones, like one for just privacy. And I'm thinking of the first thing that I mentioned in this talk, like the privacy data sections of Apple and Android. So with this, you can we could create a profile specific to test that. Also, we could select the controls and tests that are really that we are able to automate, or each company could do that and create such a profile. And we can create more profiles like for health apps specifically, or IoT apps. So there are some standards around, like built on top of the MASVS already, but they are kind of repeating the MASVS and adding more controls. So if we apply this, we will be able to just tell them, okay, just reuse it and extend using your controls. So that would be the idea. So yeah, that's more or less everything I wanted to mention, but I really want to give you this get in touch. So our project, you can follow anything on Twitter. So just follow the account, and we are publishing everything new that we are doing. We have our GitHub repos. We are on Slack as well, so you can join also our Slack. And if you have any questions, you can ask us on Slack or via email. So there's a lot of ways to contact with us. If you would like to participate in the project, there might be more things than you think that you can help with. If you're a developer, a mobile developer, front-end developer, so anything we have, we need help in all areas. So just feel free to reach out, whatever you might need, you would want to contribute, and we will help you getting started. Yeah, thank you very much. Leave some room for questions, so please go ahead if you have some questions. Happy to help.
Hello. I don't really have any questions. I just wanted to say this looks really useful, and I look forward to sort of implementing the sort of more simplified version of the MASVS. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the feedback then.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Can you guys still hear me or no?
Yeah,
It's okay.
Excellent. Okay, I don't think I need a headset then. So if you do have any questions, and if you want to reach out to Carlos, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you? Is it Twitter? Is it LinkedIn? Is it something else? There you go. All right.
Everything.
Yeah, if you're not on the OWASP Slack channel, everybody, I highly recommend it. It's a good group of individuals sharing ideas and providing some great answers and industry experience. So I really enjoy personally the OWASP chapter Slack. There's multiple different channels, from threat modeling to some of these projects also have their own channel. So I highly recommend. But if there's no additional questions or comments, then I just wanted to, oh yeah, and if you do want to get involved with the OWASP project itself, check out the GitHub page for the Mobile Application Security Verification Standard. One thing that Carlos noted is that the MASVS, along with the ASVS, is actually comprising the OVS, which is the OWASP verification standard, which is a new accreditation that Crest is supporting from the UK. And it's allowing companies that have supply chain issues on software to be able to vet the quality of the software against those three levels. So Carlos did mention, the use case of taking the MASVS to be able to vet the security posture of software as a kind of a vetting criteria format. And there is the announcement. So I appreciate that, showing that, Carlos. But it's a major announcement. Crest is an international nonprofit. They focus on accrediting companies to a higher standard for things like architecture, security, response, incident response, pen testing. And now, with the OVS, the idea here is to make sure there's a standard. So it's good if you're working with a large enterprise and you are looking to vet some of the players that are providing software to you. This is definitely a good framework to leverage. So food for thought there. But Carlos, much appreciated. Hopefully we can get you back in here to do an event, and hopefully we'll catch you in person at the next OWASP in-person event as well. But take care, everybody. Thanks for participation. And if you need to reach out to Carlos, feel free to do so directly. Hopefully you got the contact information. And we will be having this recording to be posted for the members. So if you have colleagues and friends, let them know to join the OWASP chapter, to help contribute, let them know not to be freeloaders and that they can contribute on the OWASP.org page and make a small donation to the Atlanta chapter. But we'll have this posted on the meetup page and also referenced on the OWASP Atlanta page as well. But thanks everybody. Have a great afternoon and evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you.
Thank you.